Hi there, Andy Adams here. When I was first diagnosed with my autoimmune disease, I was told something absolutely terrifying, that I would have this illness for the rest of my life. I was told my body was attacking itself and that it only would get worse with age. Food didn't matter, and that medication was my only option. And that just, I had to learn to live with it. But what if some of the things that we have been told about autoimmune disease are incomplete or maybe just plain wrong? Today, I want to share the biggest lies that I personally believed at first, lies that had kept me sick for far longer than necessary, and what I discovered instead. When I was first told all of these things by my practitioner, I was honestly terrified. You might remember from my other videos that I shared with you how the skin on my feet had become raw. I literally had to wrap my feet just to go to work. And at that time, I was working as a nurse, which meant I was on my feet 9 to 10 hours out of my 12-hour shift. I felt completely hopeless. And of course, I did follow my practitioner's advice because as a nurse, you trust the medical system. You trust that the people above you know best. So naturally, I believed what I was being told before, I began doing my own research. I have to tell you, while I was following my practitioner, really nothing improved. I was put on pain medication that were not good for my kidneys or my heart. I was put on steroids, which we all know only can do so much, and they come with a lot of side effects. And honestly, I felt like I was trapped on a merry-go-round. I would take the medications, my symptoms would improve for a while, and then as soon as I stopped them, maybe I would have a few good days, sometimes even a couple of weeks, and then everything would come roaring back again. I didn't know how to get off that cycle. And I have to tell you, I was really scared for my future. This wasn't today where I'm almost 70 and feeling healthy and strong. This was over 20 years ago when I was still in my late 40s and I felt like I had so much life ahead of me. I still feel that I have a lot of life ahead of me. And I remember back then thinking, this is what I have to look forward to for the rest of my life. It was so frightening. So, lie number one that I was told is that I would have this forever. That was devastating to hear. I felt hopeless for a while. I truly stopped believing healing was possible. But I'm a fighter. I didn't give up. That's just not who I am. I may get knocked down for a minute or two, but then I get back up and I start looking for answers. Now, I'm not saying everybody heals exactly the same way I did. I was fortunate that I did have a nursing background, and later I also studied functional nutrition. I learned to really also listen to my body and understand what it was trying to tell me. But I do want you I want to tell you this. Do not believe the lie that nothing can improve. You may not heal exactly the same as everyone else does, but you absolutely can change your outcome. Hope is extremely important when you are dealing with chronic illness. For me, the moment I stopped believing that I was permanently broken and I started to believe that I could support my body and find solution, everything slowly began to change. And honestly, one of the biggest reasons I share my reasons is because I want to give other people hope. Now let's talk about lie number two. And lie number two was that food doesn't matter. I was told that diet had nothing to do with my autoimmune illness. Can you believe that? But I personally noticed huge changes when I removed inflammatory foods from my way of eating and started adding healing foods instead. I stopped eating processed foods. I omitted the seed oils, the sugars, artificial ingredients, and instead I focused on whole foods, fermented foods, nutrient-dense meals, and cooking almost everything from scratch at home. I have to say that was actually after I did an elimination diet, but you see this in my other videos. Slowly, my kitchen became my most powerful medicine cabinet. So lie number three was that my body was attacking itself. Now, personally, I no longer believe that my body was trying to destroy me. I actually believe that my body was desperately trying to protect me and get my attention. Think about it. Our bodies are incredibly intelligent. The inflammation that I was feeling, the fatigue that I was experiencing, the skin problems that I was having, the pain, oh my God, the joint pain. I believe those were signals. My body was screaming that something was wrong. You know, we have all stress. We eat processed foods. We eat inflammatory oils. And we have chemicals, that are toxins that are we being exposed to, like just shampoo and soaps and things like this. We don't have enough rest often. We have emotional trauma. All of these things matter. And instead of listening to those signals, I was taught to silence them with medication. Now, listen, I'm not against doctors. I worked in the medical field myself as a nurse. There are many wonderful doctors out there, and medications absolutely have their place. Sometimes they are necessary. I absolutely believe that. But for me personally, medications were only managing symptoms temporarily. They were not helping me understand why my body was struggling in the first place. See, I wanted to know why was I having what I was having. Once I started supporting my body instead of fighting against it, things slowly began to change. The next lie that I was told was that it's just genetics. Now, do genetics matter? Of course they do. But I no longer believe genetics are the whole story. You may have heard the saying, genetics may load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. That made so much sense to me because I started realizing how much my daily choices affected my inflammation, or on the other side, my healing. Stress matters, how you deal with it. Sleep matters, do you get enough? Food matters, do you eat the right foods? Your movement matters, get off that couch and move a little bit, even if it's 10 minutes 3 times a day. Go out into the sun because sunlight matters. Having inner peace matters. All of these things affect the body. So then there was the lie that things would only get worse with age. Honestly, that one frightened me quite a lot. But I proved them wrong on that one too, because what's incredible is that today, at almost 70 years old, I actually feel better in many ways than I did decades ago. I have more wisdom about my body. I have more peace. I don't have pain. I have a lot less inflammation. I have no symptoms of my former illness. I have more energy. And I have a much deeper understanding of what my body needs. And I really want everyone to understand this. Aging does not automatically mean suffering. Not every ache and pain is just aging. Many times it's inflammation, it's usage, it's lifestyle, it's years of overload on the body, not just physical. There's so many aspects to it. Our bodies have an incredible ability to heal when we begin supporting them instead of constantly overwhelming them. So I'm not here to tell anybody what they should do. I'm simply sharing my personal journey and what happened to me and how I improved my health. But if you've been told there's no hope, if you've been made to believe your body is permanently broken, I just want you to know that healing may be far more possible than you think. It is really possible. Your body is not your enemy. Sometimes your symptoms are not your body attacking you, not at all. Sometimes they are your body trying to speak to you, and you have to listen. And for me, that was finally the answer. Learning to finally listen changed everything. So this is my message for you today. If you like what I shared, please like this video. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do so because it really helps me make more videos like this for you. All right, well, that's the end of it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.